Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Gina, and today I decided to come on and do a haul on a very large bead lot. Plus, I have some other things I'd like to show you as well. One item that I crafted many months ago and forgot about. So, I do have a lot of beads, so it's going to be crafting time. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. It poured rain here about 2 hours ago. I was at the Y, and so I had to wait the rain out. But anyway, before you come in the chat, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video. So I'm going to give it just a few minutes, and this is the bead lot right here. We're talking about a very large container of beads. I'm going to go through these and separate these so that if I choose to make something, the container is 15 inches by about 14 and a half inches. It's very large. I did purchase this from Marion Hilton, and there's a lot in there, so I'll try to tip it. But there's lots and lots of beads, so I do have other beads as well. But I think this is one of the largest purchases of beads that I've made, and I want to come on here and share it with you. And we'll give it just a few minutes for people to come in, and then we will go through these beads. I'll drop the camera so we can get a good look at what we're going to go through from just looking at it from this angle of it. There's a lot of there's glass beads, and that's the kind you really want, the glass beads, because those make a really pretty piece if you decide to use them for that. So I want to go through these and kind of sift through them and see what we've got. But as you can see, I wouldn't dare tip this, or I'd, hey Laura, welcome in, or I'd be picking up beads for an eternity. But this is what we're looking at right here. These are all beads, lots and lots of beads. Let me move, I don't know why that came up. Let me get rid of that. So I did, months ago, I did make a set of jewelry, earrings, necklace, bracelet, and I kind of forgot about it, and then I ran across it. So I had a necklace that had some beautiful beads on it, so I decided to go ahead. Hey, Sissy Wings, welcome in, sweetie. I've got more beads here than the law should allow, but hey, Ashley, welcome in, sweetie. But you know what? I have enough if I want to make earrings or whatever. I've got a lot of stuff. I've got findings. I have everything, ear wires, you name it, I've got it. So I just got home from the Y. They usually have a water aerobics class in the warm pool. And I'm usually in there from the class ends at about 6:30. It's a lot of fun. And I usually try to get there on Monday and Wednesday. One of these days, I'm going to do a video in there so you guys can see that massive place, and it is massive. But it's called a therapy pool, but they had to lower the temperature because they found out that people with high blood pressure can't tolerate that, so they did lower it. I got in the cold pool one time. It only took one time. It was too cold for me, so. But anyway, it's something I enjoy doing. It keeps a person healthy, and we all need that. But this is what we're looking at. This right here. This is, like I said, this is about the largest one that I have ever purchased. The container's nice. It's full of stuff. And I'm going to separate a lot of this stuff. Let me drop the camera here. And my room is a total disaster, but oh well. You know what they say? It always gets worse before it gets better. But here we have it. It is totally full. And Gizmo, what are you doing here? You want to come here? Come here. Come here, Mom. Come here. Come here. Come here. He's being hard-headed. That's the little male chihuahua. So, without further ado, here we go. I would say that's a lot of beads there. So the first thing that we have, this thing's heavy. I don't even know how much it weighs. I noticed this piece right here. Let me turn this light on. Don't want to make it too bright. Check that out. It's like a glimmering disco ball. Isn't that pretty? The light dancing off of that. That is very, very large. So there's that. And just randomly looking, we have a lot of these beads right here, the larger. You want me to lower the, I can't put it on my, I can't get too low. That's about as low as it gets. And then we have these here. Got a lot of large ones here. Lots and lots. So we're going to go through here. Here's some, whoops, I lost one. I really don't know what you would use these for. I guess it would be a larger necklace. But anyway, there's a bunch of metal ones here, and there's a lot of these, and I think these would be cute actually for like making a bracelet around Valentine's Day, and that may be a little bright. Around Valentine's Day, it has little sayings on it like special. Then on the other side, it has forever. And then this one has kiss on it. And it's like these are double-sided, and this says dream, and there's quite a few of those. We got a whole handful here. So I think this would be kind of cute to make something for, I mean, there's oodles and scads of these things. Hey, Nephew Troy, welcome in, sweetheart. Oodles and scads of these things. So, moving on. Also, these, I would have loved for these to have been glass, but they're only acrylic. Because that would have made a beautiful wind chime, you know, if you wanted to make a wind chime. And let's see, but I have a lot of those. Then I have a lot of this bead right here, which is decorated like that. A lot of those. And then we have, these are gorgeous. Now, these would make a stunning, stunning necklace. And I'll get them together here. These are like, almost like AB coated, but there's just so many of them. And these have that peacock look to them. I'll get them up to the camera. See that peacock kind of look? Very pretty. I've got a whole bunch of those. The only thing of it is the hole is rather wide in those, as you can see. But they are beautiful, and there's a lot of them in here. I wish those were glass. Wouldn't that be a hoot? But I'm going to show you guys some AB coated glass here in a minute. But aren't those beautiful? They've got that little peacock look to them. And there's a bunch of those. And I do have some glass ones as well. The glass ones are really, if you make something with them, they really make quite the impression. because they're very reflective. Here's some square ones here. Notice how that reflects right there. It has a very highly reflective quality to it, and the light just dances off that glass. And let's see what else. I do have a lot of these beads here. These make wonderful spacer beads. I've got a lot of these. These here, those are really nice as well. If you're into jewelry making, those would make nice spacer beads. Let me continue to go through. Then there was this, looks like somebody was making something, but that is glass on the bottom of that, and that is some kind of shell there. But that's glass right down there. It's good to see you guys tonight. Thank you for coming in. This is normally not the time that I would probably go on, but surprise, surprise. And here's another piece of it here. It looks like kind of like the shell that's probably been dyed, I would imagine. We had quite the rainstorm here. I was in about 15 miles from here, and I'm not into getting wet, so I kind of waited it out. But there are several glass. I'm going to separate these because these are the things that make beautiful necklaces. And there are some smaller glass beads as well. But I really have no excuse not to make something. I have been working on a diamond art for somebody. See the sparkle to that? Isn't that beautiful? Nice, nice. So we'll kind of... Now this one I thought was amazing. That one right there. That one's pretty awesome right there. I don't know what... I think that may be glass. Thank you. Right there. Isn't that beautiful? Probably only got one, but we can't have it all now, can we? Let's see. Then there was a whole bunch of these ear wires in here. They're gold toned. A bunch of ear wires. And what else? That looks like a carnelian to me. And it's cold, and I bet you that's what that is. That is carnelian right there. Someone started to make an earring out of it, and they kind of quit. I don't even know if the other one's in here. That would be nice if it was. But let's see, what's these? Then we've got these little tiny things that you put on the back of your ear wire right there. There's several of those in there. And what else stands out? Then there's some of these in there as well. Right like that. Got a hole in it. I hope I don't hit a button. And hey, Josie, welcome in. We got so many beads here. It's just out of this world. There's that one. Let's see if we can find anything else. But there are lots of beads like this that would make wonderful spacer beads on any project that you would choose to work on. Very pretty. Here's the other side of it. Very intricate in design. I may be real busy once I get through with this diamond art project I'm working on. But no, the glass ones, there's a bunch of glass. There's a bunch of peacock colors. There's quite a few of these in there as well for that person that likes that larger necklace. I make the rule, never wear a necklace that makes me look like Mr. T or carry a purse that makes me look like I'm running away from home. But anyway, but there are oodles and scads of these here. all kinds of, that would be, like I said, that would be cute for like if you made a bracelet around Valentine's Day, and there's just different ones, happy, princess, sun, and there's just all kinds of beads. This is probably the largest lot that I purchased as far as beads go. So, but like I said, I was so in hope that those were glass because that would have been the jackpot, but they're only acrylic. But those would be pretty, if you did a wind chime or something, to use those coming down and then have something else on the bottom. That would have been bank, wouldn't it, if those had been glass? And here's another one right there. Kind of faceted, kind of pretty. Here is a yellow one, and that's the only one that I see in the entire thing. But like I said, it's very highly irregular for me to come on this time of night. But surprise. Yeah, there's a lot of these square AB coated ones that are really pretty that are glass. So those would make a nice necklace. Has anyone ever seen a moissanite stone? Now, moissanite, it rates just as hard on the hardness scale as a diamond does. But I'll show you this. I've had this for 5 or 6 years. That is a moissanite. See how beautiful that is? You won't believe the looks that I get when I wear that ring, but that is moissanite. It's got probably, it would test just the same as a moissanite, as a diamond on, if you use a presidium on here, if it was tested, it would test just like a diamond. But you ought to see the looks I get when I wear that ring. But isn't that beautiful? That was not cheap, I guarantee you. And the stone itself has a guarantee on it that it won't crack. But that's just as pretty as a regular diamond is. But yeah, that one was rather, look at that setting on that. Then you can see that reflective, but that's a moissanite right there. Beautiful. Look at that reflective off of that. But yeah, moissanite is, how big is the box? It's 15 by 14 is what the size is. But it is humongous. But yeah, I've had that moissanite ring for quite a while, and it does draw the attention. It's huge. That's one of my indulgent rings right there. That moissanite stone. Isn't that beautiful? That looks like top shelf, high quality diamond. So while we're on the subject, I'll show you something that I made quite some time ago, and I forgot about it. So here's the necklace I'll show you, and I did make this. You've got these right there, and then that pretty stone one right there, and then you have seahorses. I think these stones are a little bit older. Then you have the seahorses, and I made this bracelet to match. It's got the seahorses on it, and then I made the back like that. But I had totally forgotten about it. It goes on like that. I had totally forgotten about it. And I'll show you. I did also make the earrings as well. I think I had bought, might have been a jewelry lot or something at a consignment shop. And I already had some of these beads, but I did make these earrings as well as the necklace and the bracelet. Might be a little large for some people, but that's one of my little creations right there. Turn it around. Yeah. So there are some people that do not like large jewelry, but yes, I did make that. And on the back, there's beads like that. And there's R&R. Welcome in, sweetie. But yes, I did. Let it not be said that I didn't make something. And this was a long time ago, but I thought that was kind of pretty. And I put that together myself. And the beads are nice. And you have seahorses. It's got that kind of older vibe to it. But anyway, there's that with the seahorses on it. And I did make that. So, whoops. Now, we was talking about glass. I have some of the most beautiful AB necklaces you will ever see in your life. Okay, the AB crystals. Normally, your necklaces that you find out there normally are a little bit on the short side. So I'm going to show you one that is AB glass. It is peacock, and it's absolutely beautiful. And like I said, they are always short. It would probably behoove someone to add an extension to that because it is short. However, it does fit me, but it's absolutely, these are hard to get a hold of. And when you do, when they're at auction, you're going to pay some big money. The bid, I've seen one of these go for as much as $60. But isn't that beautiful? Look at that. And that is AB coated glass, and that is peacock color. Once you get one piece of this, it you get kind of spoiled and you want more. But it's AB coated, and like I say, most of these are short. And they were constructed back in the day. Is this one marked? It's marked Laguna. But as you can see, it is beautiful. Look at that. Nothing, and this is like a peacock color. But I do have a bracelet that I received recently that it's a memory wire that I'm going to take apart. For one thing, it's too big, and I'm going to put together a necklace myself. So, now if you want to talk about rare and hard to find, I'll show you a color that is very rare and hard to find. Is this pink here. That is the most beautiful, beautiful pink. That color right there is hard to find, and when you do find it, if it's at auction, the price goes way up. But isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful, beautiful. And most of these are older necklaces. But yeah, if you so happen to find one of these at auction, you'll see people going crazy bidding on these. They are beautiful, but they're always so short. Thank you. So, for example, here's one that is beautiful. It's got Rivoli on it, but it's so short. Look how little that is. So I'm going to probably end up maybe I've got some pink AB crystal loose ones, and I may end up adding some pink to that and extending that. But that's why this is so sought after, is because it's so beautiful and so reflective. And these are getting harder and harder to find. But that Rivoli right there with that blunt point on it, I've never seen one like that before. And it's got a beautiful clasp on it. It's just so darn short. But Gizmo, come here. Come here. Come here. He's hard headed. It's got a gorgeous clasp on it, but it's so short. But I've got plenty of things to use for a necklace. I even have a thing that does knots in between, stuff. But isn't that beautiful? I'm hoarse here. He knows he's not supposed to be up here. Okay. This is gorgeous as well. This is what I mean about glass. This is why people go bananas over glass. That is glass, isn't that to die for? Look at that. And this is kind of an aqua blue green, and it has a how in the world did that? It has, of course, it's older. It's got that barrel clasp, but look at that. That is just gorgeous, gorgeous. This is just as pretty as diamonds, if you ask me. But so I do have a lot. I still have more. I've got something downstairs, and I'm going to cut apart, and I'm going to make a necklace to where it's not choking me, so to speak. But that is gorgeous. Yeah, this has the magnetic closure on it, so you don't have to fiddle with that, and it's really beautiful. Now this one's longer, so it doesn't choke somebody as they put that on. But anyway, lots and lots of beads. I still have beads somewhere tucked away somewhere else, but and like I said, I am having an auction this coming Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I should have fun crafting with these things. I know a lot of people use them for jewelry art, especially if they're not drilled. But there's a lot in here to work with. And like I said, this is huge. The box is heavy. I don't even know how much that thing weighs, but I did want to come on here and show you. This is what I was really impressed by, is that right there. You can see that. That would be pretty on a sun catcher type thing, really. So believe it or not, I do craft, and I did make something a long time ago, but I did find it. So, but I think it lays pretty good. It's got the most beautiful beads on it I've ever seen. But it is a larger one, but it is pretty. So let's see. So there's no telling what I'm going to have during the sale because I have a lot of stuff that I have to go through yet. And it's going to be an adventure. I've got that entire room over. The rooms up here aren't that big. I got a room over there that's loaded to the gills. I got to get in there and get that figured out. But it's been pretty nice around here. But I thought I would come on and show you those beads and these pretty necklaces here. But I do intend to, this one will probably be first since it is so tiny. I'm going to take that apart and I'm going to make a necklace that I may add some pink to that. Who knows? But this is so sought after. For one thing, it's hard to find. You can't find it these days, but very beautiful. But this one is the prize right here because that color right there is hard to find. It's beautiful though. Of course, it is short. I guess back in the day, everyone wore their necklace up to here, but not everyone likes that. So I just wanted to kind of do a short video, remind you of the sale coming up this Thursday. There's going to be a lot of things that are clearance because who wants to trip over things when you can sell them? So there'll be a lot of good deals and a lot of things come out that you haven't seen before. Some things that you have seen before that will be discounted because you got to move them. But this here, that right there is amethyst right there. It's kind of a rough amethyst. Don't want to get it too bright. But look at that. That is right hot off the press. Yeah, back in the day, people, they were smaller, and a lot of the girdle was a household name because a lot of ladies wore them. And if you think about the apparatuses they wore years ago, a lot of them had metal in them. I don't see how they did it. But isn't that a beautiful amethyst right there? Beautiful, beautiful. I got to take some of this stuff downstairs. But anyway, and another thing that I thought was really adorable that I don't really want to sell, but I will, was this snowman right there. That's an UNESCO snowman, and it's in excellent condition. That'll be up for sale as well. Maybe, maybe, no, I'm kidding. And it is lighted on the bottom. And it is an Esco, and it says that it is bone china. Isn't that adorable? How cute. Snowmen are one of my favorite things, but a lot of things have to be moved, that's for sure. And that's what I intend to do. Hey, Shell Bell, welcome in. We was just looking at a colossal thing of beads. That right there. There's some glass in there and just miscellaneous items, but I think this is probably the biggest one that I've ever bought right there. But there are lots and lots in there. But Shell Bell, did you ever get your package? I know you was trailing it down. I don't know if you got it or not. Because before, I don't know what's up with the postal system, but sometimes things go the long route before they actually get to a person. Good. Was everything okay? Was everything, I wrapped the daylights out of that. Because you know what? You just never know when something's going to get tossed around. And of course, I had to send your bracelet secondary because I took it downstairs and I had it in that bag, and I'll be a monkey's uncle if I didn't forget it. But I guess we all forget sooner or later. So that black patent leather case was smashed in, but I and smashed it. How bad was it, Shell Bell? I thought I packed that the way someone probably ended up on its side. You could put this side up on something all day long, and they're going to do what they want to. But yeah, I thought I put that in a position to where that wouldn't happen. But it's not tore up, is it, Shell Bell? Because that was really nice too. I mean, you try to get the right box, you try to pat it to where, but you know how they smashed the side of the box and it smushed it in. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, that's terrible the way they handle the mail. I don't know who's worse, the post office or UPS. I would say UPS is probably worse because they deal in massive amounts. I think that went through the US mail though. But they just sometimes you could pack something and bubble wrap something that wide and something would still happen, from that. But I just hate that. And smushed it in. They smashed the side of the box and smushed it in. Mm-mm-mm. You just never know how they're gonna. Shell Bell, that's my girl. She packed it with jewelry. God, you ought to see my jewelry collection. It's almost getting ridiculous. But we just keep on buying. Oh well, you only live once. But yeah, it's sometimes, did you categorize it, Shell Bell, to certain, like it's this, that, and the other? I try to keep my stuff straight. And the earrings, I'm really bad about that because I know I bought these little, they're like silver type toned on the back, and they have a silver thing on them, and they're about yay big because I'm really bad about putting an earring on, going over to the mirror. No, I don't like this, taking it off and putting it only God knows where. So I try to keep them in bags to keep them from being lost or somewhere else because I have a lot of earrings. I do that way. Like, well, no, this ain't gonna work, and I'll take it out and put it over here. And next time I look up, I'm like, what did I do with that? So, but I do have like your bracelets and stuff. If you get a vintage bracelet, a lot of times it's a good idea to restring it because it's going to break eventually. And I've got some cord that I bought specifically for that reason. And but you know, your vintage, the bracelets that are stretchy, it's a good thing to check them because the last way you want to find out if it's going to break or not is if you're out somewhere. And I guess bracelet stringing is like this one. I did a pretty good job on that. Oh yeah, I know what you mean, Shell Bell. I did a pretty good job on that. And I think I doubled it because Lord knows. But there is an art to making them. I think I did a pretty good job on that. But yeah, let it not be said that I didn't make something. Now, come on, y'all. But I thought that was beautiful with the seahorses on it. Nice stretch. I think the flat kind is good. Thank you, Shell Bell. I made a whole set. I'm going to show Shell Bell. Now, there's the necklace with the seahorses in it. That right there. Then, not only do we have that, we have that matching coordinating earrings that go. Look at that pretty. Isn't that pretty? So nobody can say that I didn't. But yeah, I just kind of put it together, and I think it's kind of pretty myself. Of course, we all think that we're our own best architect when we do stuff here. But what can I say? If I can't pitch myself, what else is left, right? But another thing that I picked up is this clock, and this is an older clock. It's Sterling and Noble. That's an older one. Man, it's heavy. It's probably lead crystal, one of those heavy doodads. Well, no wonder it's not working. Someone's got the battery jacked up. Look at that battery back there. Now, how's it going to work like that? I thought it would be a pretty mantle clock. It's heavy. It's probably lead crystal, but it is Sterling and Noble. Thank you, Shell Bell. I didn't claim to be. I do pretty good. I didn't claim to be Picasso. Hey, Brian, welcome in, sweetheart. But Laura, I've almost got your goodie box complete here. I'm looking at the items right now. If I was going to send you something, I was going to send you something that was worthwhile. And the printer ink is going in your box as well because it don't fit mine, but it does yours. So I've been compiling all this stuff. So it won't be long. You'll be getting that, and you'll be getting the printer ink as well. But let me show Brian. I don't know if he's seen it. Boy, this will put muscles on you. We was looking at all these beads. I'm afraid to tilt it, afraid we'll have an avalanche. But it's a very large box. And I thought, man, I got to have it. And you know, if you think about, I know, and there's some glass in there. And I made a necklace. I'm pretty proud of that thing. And I made a bracelet, the whole ensemble. Let it not be said that I do not with all these beads. But here's one thing that I thought was really cool that was in there. This here, right there, see the reflection? Yay! But anyway, Brian, I think I've got 1, 2, 3 things that I put back for you. That is fancy. I thought about hanging that. Wouldn't that be pretty in your car or something, hanging from something in your car and the light? The sunlight comes through and just dazzles the daylights out of that. So pretty. One of these days, I'm gonna do a video at the Y to show you the facility that they have. I go there, like I said, Monday and Wednesday. It's rather large, and usually the first of the month, we usually play volleyball from the mirror. Yeah, and I'm one of their. I play pretty good. I mean, I might be 60 years old, but I'm not dead. But we play volleyball, we have fun and stuff like that. Some lady had this disc. This was so cool. It was this disc that floated on the water, and in the middle of it, it had this speaker, and she controlled it with her phone. So she put that in the pool and put music on it, and that thing floated all the way around in the pool with the music on, because their Wi-Fi is usually messed up. But it was so neat that here would come and it would change colors like yellow and red and orange, and it was real inexpensive. I think she said she got it at Menards, I think. But it's a lot of fun and keeps you healthy. And but my favorite is volleyball because I'm real competitive anyway. I know, wouldn't that be neat to have a pool party and have that floating around in your pool? But I was just so amazed by that, and they weren't that much. And I guess it had like a Bluetooth thing, and it was about yay big. I guess it was about like that. But they have a really nice facility. There's a dry heat. There's a dry heat, wet heat. I mean, this place is really big, and I'm gonna do a video of that place because it's real. They even have a large area for childcare that the parents can bring their kids in and have them taken care of while they're, that may be the only chance that they've had to be separate from their kids. And, sometimes people really need that. But I started to come out and it was pouring the rain. And I said, I ain't going out. I didn't have an umbrella. So I waited it out. So that caused me to get home a little bit later than what I normally do. But yeah, it's a lot of get that exercise in, because when we get a certain age, the weight comes. I mean, that's a given. So if you can stay active and keep your heart healthy, and I don't even have high blood pressure. I don't take any medicine at all. I'm 60 years old, so I consider myself fortunate. Brian, how's your mom doing? Is she getting better? I hope she is. I know she was taking medication. A lot of times when they give antibiotics, if you could give her, oh, Shell Bell, me and were 60. Did we ever think that we'd say we were 60, Shell Bell? And here we are, 60. But Brian, a helpful hint, if your mom's taking a lot of antibiotics and a large, kind of a high milligram, pick her up some yogurt because sometimes antibiotics will cause yeast infections. So if she likes yogurt, it would be a good idea to encourage her to eat that because antibiotics will do that. She'll be born in October. Josie says I'm young. At Shell Bell, we're young. Josie, I think she's 83 and she's just as spry as the next person. But yeah, Josie, she works the job. She does her jewelry art. She does auctions and just as sharp as a tack. I think what keeps her young, she loves to laugh. But yeah, Josie's 83 years old and she is sharp. Yeah, we look back, we're in high school and we're about 18, 17, 18 years old and wake up one morning and say, oh my God, I'm this age. But if, yes, absolutely. And if she likes yogurt, this would be the time to give it to her. Sometimes those, the antibiotics are a good thing because they get rid of the bacteria. But usually, if they give you a routine of taking that, it's always good to supplement that with yogurt that way. But Brian takes good care of his mom. Sometimes there's hurdles that we all have to get over in life, and it's just a continuous thing. But good deal, Brian. If she likes it, just encourage her to eat quite a bit of it. But yeah, Brian takes really good care of his mom, and Josie doesn't even have high blood pressure. Oh my goodness, Josie, you are the exception to the rule. I take extra vitamin C. Yeah, he's a good son. That's amazing, Josie. Oh my goodness. That is wonderful. And Josie, she's 83 years old and not to have high blood pressure, a lot of times it's hereditary too. And we get that from sometimes from, a parent, but that's amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of people I noticed on YouTube that have a lot of different things, high blood pressure, poor circulation. And Josie, I think Josie's really a blessing. She is to other people. She's kind of like the example for, there's just something about her. She has a good outlook on life. She keeps going. Take thyroid medicine. Right. Once that thyroid gets out of whack, it's something else. But Josie, I can see Josie living to. She'll be clear into her 90s, I bet, because she takes care of herself, I believe. So she stays busy. D3 is good at the right doses. I should take vitamins, but I don't. I'm really bad about taking vitamins. I used to take them, and I can put them right where I can see them. I usually end up not doing it. But yeah, vitamins. I take blood pressure medicine, two different thyroid meds, cholesterol med, and two different insulins. Oh, wow, Shell Bell, you have to really be on top of that because you got to take that medicine at a certain time. We know that the insulin must be taken at a certain time. And I hope you're not paying a lot of money for your insulin, Shell Bell, because I know that stuff's expensive. I hope you've got something that helps you out with it. I think they lowered that because it was ridiculous. Yeah, yeah, good food with medicine helps. I inherited everything per the doctor. Yeah, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of it. But yeah, it's really hard to eat right. I had a little blood pressure problem before. You're rather young, aren't you, Brian? And my husband, he is the world's worst after insurance pays. Well, I'm glad you have insurance because that's that's a lot. My husband, I had to get on to him 55. I thought you was younger than that, Brian. So Brian's 55. He didn't take his, I could tell that he didn't take his medicine. And he goes, see, people are under the misconception when you take blood pressure medicine, and some people think just because that your blood, it controls it and that's it. Well, you have to take that religiously. You can't just take it and get your blood pressure under control. It's a continual thing that you have to take. And I had to get on to my husband about that. Said, you know what? You're a good candidate for a stroke. You're not a young man anymore. Yeah, I think when we slow down is when we things start failing. But my husband, he's got high blood pressure and he's got um he's worked all since he was 16 years old. He's worked a lot of jobs. He has a lot of spinal stenosis and that's good, Brian. And he's worked hard his whole life. While these 16-year-olds was out there goofing off, he was in the barn feeding the horses and pitching hay. He didn't have time for that. And I think that's why, he's always been a hard worker, and I think he gets his blood pressure problem from both his parents. Yeah, and Brian had that muscle problem years ago. Yeah. And I've got that degenerative disc in my neck. And I tell you what, you have not had nothing till you have had a pinched nerve and it runs down your arm and burns like you're in the fire. And I've had tendonitis before. So, but all mine was due to my neck. And there's a lot of degenerative disc runs in our family. So there's all that. You get that spurring back there, and I should be taking calcium, but I'm not doing it. My hubby, too, is a hard worker. He just lost his job after almost 3 years. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Um, oh, wow. And Josie said overweight also. Yes. There's been I've seen it happen. The company went under. What kind of company was it, Shell Bell? Yeah, a lot of times people find if they drop their weight, two things happen. Their blood pressure is much better. Their diabetes is it'll reverse diabetes. Concrete. My father-in-law worked for a he retired from a cement company. He worked there for about, that's a long time. Did they offer him any compensation or anything like that? Would they? A lot of these companies, they walk in, well, that's all, folks. Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, staying active and stuff like that. It really does. Well, Shell Bell, he's got experience, and experience is one thing that can't be taken away. Extra 30 days of health insurance. My goodness. Well, Shell Bell, I'll be praying for him to find a job because you take insulin and that stuff's expensive. So, but you know what? With his experience, he should be able to locate a job pretty easy. Did he work where they make concrete or did he work in concrete itself? He's going to sign up for Medicare. That's good, Shell Bell. And you know what? There's programs out there that people have worked hard and earned, and there ain't no shame in it. You know, and every little bit helps. And, you know, it really does. Making walls and floors for buildings. Wow. So he's no stranger to hard work neither. So my husband, he worked at where they made seats for Ford Motor Company, and he worked at Walmart distribution, and he loaded those trailers, and that stuff comes because he knew that Lear was closing, but he did not want to lose that insurance. So what he did was he worked two jobs for 19 months, and I think that's another thing that broke him down because he would load trailers and the heat, the cold, it didn't matter. And I think a lot of that probably broke him down. But he worked two jobs for 19 months. And that was really hard too, because I missed him. So they finally closed, and then wasn't too long after that, Ford Motor Company called him because it was in the contract if that Lear closed, that the ones that worked at Lear would have an opportunity to go to Ford's. So that was many moons ago. So he's been there. Recently, I picked up a wrench and some other socket, and these are from 1917 and had the Ford insignia on it. I said, here, take those to work and you can have show and tell because those are 1917. I said, some employee took those home after work and didn't take them back, but they were from 1917. So, I don't know if Ford's they probably do have a museum where, wouldn't they like to get a hold of those? But I said, there's your show and tell, but they were from 1917. So, let me stick this back in here. I don't want to lose that. Brian, did your dad pass away? Yeah, back in the day, we were born uh, in the 60s, and back then, times weren't easy neither, and people had to work now, and they worked hard, and you had a lot of farmers, and it was a super at Brown and Williamson's tobacco. Oh wow, Brian! I did, and sorry for your loss in 2002. There's a Philip Morris over here in Kentucky where they. Oh wow, Brown and Williamson. I've heard of that for 28 years. That's a long time. My dad was a truck driver. When he was, this is his story. When he was only 16 years old, and he lied about his age so he could drive a truck, and that he did for many years. And he loved going over the road, and he was the only one I'd ever seen that really enjoyed. It didn't bother him to, he really loved it because he loved to see the countryside. And my dad died in '87. He passed away, but he did have an alcohol problem, and that was eventually what his demise was, and it was really sad. And another one we need to keep in our prayers, which is upcoming, it's me, Angie, goes in to have her pacemaker updated the 2nd of August. So we need to be praying for her. I know she's kind of anxious about that. And I know she's probably got a little bit of anxiety about that. Anytime you go in for a procedure, you're always nervous about it. But yeah, my husband lost both his parents. His mom died in 2012, and his dad died a couple of years ago. And he really misses him. He's the spitting image of his dad. He looks. One of these days, I'll find those pictures, and if you put their picture side by side when they were about 6 or 7, you can tell the difference. You can tell the older picture, but they look identical. Yeah, Brian, thank you. I really appreciate that. We live in a world that's full of, there's all kinds of things going on, and it's getting rough out there. And Sissy Wink says, my dad passed on December the 13th, 2008, 2.5 months after my mom passed. I think uh, I think when two people are married for a lot of years, that it seems to be when one passes, the other one's not far behind them, and it seems like that is sometimes the case. How long were your parents married, Sissy Winks? And it's always so hard to, you know, I took care of this older gentleman when I worked in the home health care. He was like 90, 50 years. That's a long time. He was like 90, and he was still driving. And even before that, when about 4 years before that, he passed me on the expressway like I was sitting still. He had the heaviest foot I have ever seen. And he'd be on these country roads, and he'd go, instead of being on his side, he'd go right up the middle. And his daughter told me that. I said, he must have a death wish. You don't go up over a hill in the middle. But he was kind of one of those ones that I remember his wife told me that her sister said, he's going to kill you in that car. She goes, he drives way too fast. Hey, Kelly, welcome in. Welcome in. I don't think I've seen you in before. Talking about age and people's health, but it does seem like like in Sissy Winks's instant, when people are married for so long and one passes, the other one's not far behind them. It's kind of weird the way that happens, but it's happened in a lot of cases. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the compliment. My hair looks like I combed it with a mixer, but when I was coming out of the well, I wouldn't leave the Y until it stopped raining. Thank you so much. I was a part of his, hers, and our family. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. But today we have a lot of people that, have they have mixed families where people were married to other people that had children. And to me, a family's a family and everyone should be treated equally, even though that this person's married to someone else and they have kids. There should be no difference between their kids and that kid. And, oftentimes, children kind of, they get, you should never differentiate between kids. You just shouldn't. And that does happen because sometimes in life, people do get divorced for different reasons and then they remarry and, they have children. And I know, Chobel, it really doesn't. And when there's a kid involved, there should be no, if you get married to someone and they have kids, treat them with, thank you so much. Treat them with just like they're yours. Even though they're that other person's, you should always, because kids are very impressionable. You can't. You should never do that. And Brian said he told his dad that he would look out for his mom, and you're doing an excellent job, Brian. You really are. Your dad would be very proud of you, Brian, because you do. You really do. And you buy her all these pretties and all this jewelry and right. And there's so many times where you have a one parent or the other passes away and you have siblings and they sit around saying, well, who's going to take care of mom? And that it shouldn't be who, it should be everybody, not just one person. But unfortunately, sometimes that's the case. Yeah, that, um, that's when people band together and people do have separate lives. But that's your mother. She gave birth to you. She took care of you. She sent you to school. She clothed you. Don't run out just because you're asked to do something. I didn't, I lost my mom at a very young age and I didn't get the opportunity to do that. But I tell you what, if she was still here on this earth, I would have, I guarantee you. But, it's like sometimes people forget, well, like I said, she raised you, she sent you to school, she loved you, and she needs you. Don't run away. If you have siblings, get together and come to a compromise. Don't lay it all on one person. But then when they pass, the ones that didn't help would be right there on the doorstep to reap the benefits of that person's death. And it's sad, but it's true because I've seen it. Yeah. But, I think we should, really relish the people that, oh my goodness. And Shell Bell went through that. Oh my goodness. And it's hard, I think that may be 89 in September. Awesome, Brian. 8 siblings and only one speak to me. Speak to one. Yes, Shell Bell, I had a sister that I was really close to. That was my big sister that she passed away. And My brother, I don't know where he's at. I have a stepbrother and I have a stepsister, but my stepmother's house, every time I went over there, I always felt like I was I don't know, there was something going on, and they knew I wasn't like that. And I felt like that I really wasn't welcome there, and I could feel it. So I never, I'm not, the one that I was really close to was my oldest sister, but, I don't like to be in a place where I feel like that I'm not welcome, and some place like that I will not go back to. Period. I know that he's my stepbrother and that's my stepmom, but you know what I mean, Shell Bell, when you're in an environment where you feel like that somebody's afraid they're going to say something and I'm going to figure something out. I don't like that. So I just depart from it. But Shell Bell, I'm glad you do have a relationship with at least one of your siblings. That's so important because you grew up together and I'm sure you confide in one another, and that's a good thing. I'm kind of like this person, I'm around a lot of people, but I'm kind of like a loner in a way. I don't really there's there's a lady that I'm really close to up the road, but I'm not a big crowd person. I'm like, I've always been that way. But I'm glad that that relationship is there, Shell Bell, because that is so important. Is she younger than you, Shell Bell? Because it's good to have things, that someone you can go to and tell things to that you don't feel like, that you're ashamed of or anything like that. Because younger, I am the oldest. Like my oldest sister, we were the closest, and she took care of us quite a bit when we were little, and we were just really close. And I don't know. And you know what? The bad thing, I don't know if you call it bad or not. I guess sometimes we get accustomed. And even though I grew up with some of them, I really don't miss them. Isn't that terrible? There is not a sibling longing there. I don't know what it is. We're just so different. I'm not saying I don't like them, but there's not a draw there. There's just not. I know that sounds bad, but it's true. But a lot of my family is deceased, and yeah, I've always said, Shell Bell, I'm like a chameleon. I conform to my environment. And it's not that I'm mean and unkind or anything like that. It's just that, yeah, sometimes that's the way you have to do it. Because a lot of times things get complicated, with stuff like that, because we all have different, our lives are different. Some people are the party people and some people aren't. And, and sometimes, you know, I never, when I was growing up, I was never in a situation where I knew that something was, I would walk away from it first because I feared my dad. He could look at you and your blood would run cold. But yeah, he said that he was 16. He lied to get a truck driving job. He started driving a truck, and then I guess he went in the service. And I have a picture of him somewhere around here. And he claimed that when the ladies seen him in the truck, he looked like Elvis, and they would climb all over the truck. Well, they wanted me to go against my mother's wishes and her will after her passing, and I said, no way. But you know what, Shelbell? I don't blame you for that because that's what your mother wanted. That was her last wishes. And I don't blame you. You know, if she wanted things a certain way, and how dare somebody go against that? And kudos to you, Shelbell, because you did the right thing. You know, sometimes that's right. Sometimes people get so enthralled in material things, they they forget about that person's life and who they were, and they're just, I don't know. Right, I was going to say that, and that's what. And really, most people that want everything handed to them have more. You know what? They don't even know what they're going to do with it after they get it. It's just that possession, and it makes them feel so so superior. I don't know, but hey, Carol, welcome in, sweetheart. We're talking about light. We started out with beads and necklaces, and now we're talking about family. And thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate that. We're talking about family situations, siblings, and everything like that. But good, it's good to see you, sweetheart. She always, um, Carol has such a, and Shelby, well, and Brian, you know, too. I just feel, even though we haven't met, I feel like there's a connection there. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know, you just sometimes God puts you with the right people at the right time. You know, it's just that I really believe that. And Lord knows I haven't had an easy, losing my mother at a very young age and the stuff surrounding that. And it's been one crazy ride, but I'm still here, I'm still here. That's right, Carol. That is exactly right. Yeah. And if you can't have fun, thank you, Brian. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I'm not saying I'm boring or nothing, but I don't know. I just have this ability to connect to people. And, even now people come up to me and just start talking to me like they've known me their whole life. I guess it's that. And they tell me things that, um, because they sense they can trust me for some reason. Well, I think they know I care. There are some people that you are just automatically drawn to that, I don't know, people tell me a lot of things, and they'll stop me in the stores, they'll talk to me. My husband, he'll be going around the store and I'll be still there talking and stuff like that because I just really love people, I guess. I just kind of, I think we can mean a lot to people. If, we live in a very hurry up world, and sometimes, there's people that need people to talk to. There really are, and they feel isolated, and it's just, I don't know. People are definitely drawn to me for that reason. They're just, people just come up and start talking in a store, and I might be there 30, 40 minutes talking with them, But I think everyone has an ability and that it should be used. It is, Brian. Oh, Carol says her mother left him when he was 11 years old. As the oldest of four, I became a parent-filled child. I'm having my childhood now. So Carol knows about, oh my gosh, Carol, I couldn't imagine. Oh my goodness, sweetheart. Okay, Shell Bell. Oh my goodness, Carol, that must have been very stifling at 11 years old. And sometimes things like that can really, taking on that mother figure and being there for your siblings, you are to be commended. Oh my goodness. So you was responsible for, I mean, that was, wow. No wonder you're so strong, Carol. No wonder. But Carol, I think you have learned to channel that. Yeah, Carol is very sweet. Oh my goodness, Carol, I had no idea you went through that. I am so sorry. That must have been, oh my goodness. See, we never know what people go through. And sometimes the hard times shapes the type of person that we are, really, you know. And it's all good now. Well, I'm so glad, Carol, that yeah, it does. It does, Brian. It does. When we deal with bad things, sometimes kind of it really makes us stronger. But oh my goodness, wow! And sometimes, even though we conquer these things, it still stays in the back of our mind, and sometimes that comes to the forefront, and sometimes we have a hard time dealing with that. We really do. And fear is the biggest one. Being afraid, and it's almost crippling sometimes, because different things will trigger different memories, it really will. And it's you kind of got to learn to cope with it. It just, sometimes bad things do happen to good people, but there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. And well, this is really, as I'm looking at your picture, Carol, you remind me so much of my older sister. She had the wavy hair, and every time I look, I don't know, it just, you really do. And not only do I love you because you're sweet, that might be an extra point right there, because you do resemble my sister, my oldest sister. You really do. And it really never occurred to me. Yeah, she pretty much did. She, when my stepmom went to work, she took care of us. She cooked for us. It wasn't like it was a one on. See, after my mother passed, um, I'm not for sure. It's a long story. I could write a book, but there's no telling what she went through. I do think Deborah witnessed a murder, and then later that caused her to have problems, and to the point where she had to take medicine because of it. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't have to fill in the gap. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Hey, Callie, welcome back in. It's good to see you. I think you're new to the chat. welcome in. But it's, and I lost her to cancer. She had esophageal cancer, and oh my God, I can still remember her daughter calling me. I'll never forget that. It just, oh my goodness. Yep, Deborah was her name, Deborah Kay. I've got, isn't it funny how I've got some of her belongings in my basement, and there's a baby picture of her, and it's like, oh my goodness. Sometimes we tuck those things away that remind us of painful things. And I think that may be one of them, but you do remind me of her quite a bit. But bless her heart, we were really close. And Shell Bell is back. Did you have to take some medication, Shell Bell? I know a lot of times when people take medicine, they do it, um, on schedule because it works better that way. But laundry, yuck. Yes, Carol, you've been officially adopted. Like I said, I'm not around my siblings. I'm just not around them. And her daughter's work clothes. And, you just, like Shell Bell says, you get accustomed to not being around them. It's not that we dislike anybody, we're just not. So we just never know the burdens that people have to bear, the things that they've been through, the things that they've seen. And some of it would probably curl your hair, I imagine. It's just, we never know. But then there's just some people that you feel close to. You've never seen them face to face, but yet you feel that. You can feel that draw, or I can. But yeah, it's, you know, my mother's buried, and she's buried over in Louisville, Kentucky, and she's buried in the West End, which is the worst part of Louisville, but it wasn't always that way. Brian said, I would say I do the most for my mother and any other family members. Yes, Brian, I totally agree. And Brian is the most thoughtful person. Yeah. Have you ever known the biggest complainers in life are about? Yeah, they are. And we never know what that person, what minefield a person has walked through to get to where they are today. Because sometimes there's scars that people can't see, that are in people's hearts that just go real deep. And we have to, like that song says, hold on for one more day. And yeah, we shouldn't. There's a lot of people going through a lot of things. There are a lot of people out there that have a whole lot less than we do, that really don't have, you know, uh, efficient food to eat. The little kids are going hungry, and it's really sad out there, and it shouldn't be that way. There should be no one in the United States of America be hungry ever, but we know that is the reality. You know, Brian, he said he never let anyone talk over his mom. I'm just happy to be. Yes, Brian, I know. I could see you really getting real with somebody. I'm just happy to be here, grateful that I got to see another day and share love with my friends and family. Amen, Shell Bell. Amen. Yeah, it's really sad. And it's like you got people out there struggling and prices keep being raised up, and you're already having a hard time anyway. And, there's got to be somewhere where things get back to normal. It's crazy out there. Over in Kentucky, there's every time you turn the news on, somebody shot somebody, somebody's deceased, and you've got, I believe in equal rights for everyone, but, every time you turn around, somebody killed somebody, somebody shot through somebody's house and wounded a little kid, and for what? They want to stop the violence. I think, a lot of where are these kids getting these guns to start with? It's just crazy. They get a hold of a gun, they shoot somebody, and it's terrible. The I think there somewhere along the way there has to be accountability. You cannot leave weapons out where a kid can get a hold of them. And like bullying, probably a lot of these kids, and I'm not making excuses for them, a lot of these people in these shootings that were young probably were picked on and bullied, and they come in there to even the score, basically. And we know that bullying does happen. It's wrong, but it does happen. It happens all the time. But it's terrible. Thank you, Brian. Sometimes we all just need that heart, and it causes trauma. It sure does. Trauma is something that, you can go through an instance, and it just really shakes you, and then time goes by. But then there's something there will trigger that emotion, and that's really bad. Right. Brian said, I make sure my mom gets what she needs because she always has been good to me. Brian, I imagine she's been a very good mom, and that's really good. You're probably closer to your mother than your other siblings. I would say, but yeah, there'll never be anybody like your mom, and I'm sure a lot of you out here have lost that's in this chat right now have lost their mothers. And you know it's really really sad. I remember going into a nursing facility with a client, and she was visiting. Her sister was in the dementia ward, and it's just so sad to see that. And there was a lady in the room with her sister that somebody just took her there, dumped her out, and left her. And she was really, really, she had it really bad, and nobody would come and see her. And lost my sister 3 years ago at 65. Oh, wow. Unfortunately, my mom was really mean and manipulating, but when I cared for her, I showed her nothing but love and respect simply because she was my mother. Oh, my goodness, Shell Bell, that takes a very strong, loving, giving person sometimes. Yeah, that's really hard to Yeah, that that really shows your character, Shell Bell. You're one of the. There's not a lot of people that could do that, but I just hate to see people dropped off into these places. That lady had dementia, and her family just dropped her in there. Would never go and see her, and I think when my client's son would come in, he would pay a lot of attention to her and bring her things because she had nobody. They just dropped her out and left her, and I just hate to see that. That just breaks my heart, but that's the reality of a lot of things. It's so sad that my mother-in-law had dementia. This is profoundly touching. I don't think I could have done it myself. God bless you, darling. Yeah. Shell Bell's got chops, I'll have to say. She's got chops. But I just hate to see my mother in law had dementia, and in her last, they wouldn't let her drive because they was afraid she'd get out and park the car, not know where she was, and panic. Oh, Shell Bell. That is so sweet. My goodness. Right. You're a special lady, Shell Bell. You really are. So Carol and you guys are really special. My mother-in-law had dementia as well, and they wouldn't let her get out and drive in the early stages of it because they was afraid she'd get park her car and forget where she was parked. But my husband was with her when she passed, and it just, oh, Brian, your mom has dementia. Oh, is it in the early stages maybe? They have medication that will slow it down, but it'll never take it away. Oh yeah. Oh, and sometimes it's hard. It's not hard. The physical work is not hard when you care for someone that has dementia. It's the visual that really bothers you, but I know that Brian always stays in good spirits and stuff like that. So, and it is hard to watch that. It's not the physical work, it's the mental part of it. Yeah. You try your best, and that's all we can do is try our best, you know. But yeah, I didn't have any parents. Of course, my dad died in '87, and of course, my mother died when I was 2 months old, so I never had parents to take care of. But I took care of a lot of clients in my day, and yeah, we can only do the best we can. And I had took care of a lot of clients, and buddy, when it come to them clients, I was really protective, and I mean protective. Yeah, sometimes people have that tendency to have kind of a be a little snippy with that sometimes, but I took care of a lady. I'd pull up in the parking lot and I would think, oh my goodness, what's going to happen today? Because she lived kind of there was a lot of bull that went on, and I guess I was there to really protect her because there was a lot of stuff that they was afraid of me. Not because I was big and muscular, because I someone did something that I felt that upset her, they would be out that door. It wasn't because I was big and muscular, I guarantee you. That's good. But yeah, they do, Shell Bell. They really do. But it's good, Brian, that she can function while she's at home. To the point, does she have any memory lapses that are really bad, like maybe leaving a stove on or something like that? But sometimes, if she can function like that, they have medicine that slows it down, but it really can't get rid of it. At the end, we all come out a winner. Yeah. Good. She doesn't cook anymore. That's good. Brian, you got everything covered. You're better than three females, I think. Brian, he's got it covered. He's got her everything down. But Brian, were you ever married, or are you married now? Well, it's true. You know me, I'm not mincing words. Yes, he does, and he's Brian's never married. He must not have found the right one. Yeah, sometimes with there's a lot of give and take there. Sometimes you're at each other's throats, but that's the way it is. You can't. I always said if two people agree in the marriage, there's only one doing the thinking. We're all different, and sometimes you either roll with the punches or get knocked down. Brian said he will when the right one pops up. Brian, you're getting up there in age. You better put that spyglass on. No, I'm kidding. You wouldn't want to. That's one thing you don't want to do is be in a hurry to get married and then marry the wrong one and be miserable. That's not what it's about. So some people are totally secure in not being married, in divine timing. I feel like I got something on my contact. Brian, do you get out much? He said when he had his muscle problem, it stopped everything. I don't know if you get out very much, Brian, but don't go to no bar. Slap on that high karate and get out there and run with the best of them. He's like, she's crazy. You get out more now. Brian said, Cupid, put your arrow down. I'm telling him to slap that high karate on. And women do like a nice smelling man, that's for sure. High karate. Hi, yeah. Brian said, quit playing Cupid. Put the arrow down. Actually, me and my husband were match made. My husband, believe it or not, he was afraid to approach me. So someone made it to where I went to someone's house. Aha, I do have someone I care about. Aha. Brian said again, Gina, stop playing the detective. But it just so happens that I was at someone's house and he took me home and he drove about 30 miles an hour. And then on the way, he asked me if I wanted to go to this pig roast. And I said, why, sure. And so it just went from there. But he would sit across the road at his friend's house and stare across the way because he was afraid to come over, I guess. I don't know. Uh, she has problems also. Oh, Brian. You sure she's good enough for you, Brian? Oh, thank you, Carol. Oh, and she's up. Brian said she's up here with that arrow drawn back, getting ready to match make me with somebody. I do have someone he cares about. Oh, you had to take care of your dad also? My goodness. Wow, Brian is a he's got experience there. Oh, but yeah, Brian, now you're getting up there. You want to have someone to take care of you when you get older, right? I told my daughter, I said, we only have the one child. I said, if we become a problem and you can't handle both of us, hey, Papa Jim, he's been lurking, haven't you, Papa Jim's? I said, if we get to be too much trouble and it's overwhelming, put us in assisted living. Just make sure the U-Haul with my jewelry is packed appropriately. He gave a lot to me for that. We're all a little bit broken and what that's true. Papa Jim's is at work, but he's been listening. Because anytime you come in laughing, you know he's been listening. But good to see you, Papa Jim's. We haven't seen you very often. Or Paul, I think his name is Paul. You working that night shift? MRC. Working the night shift. Where do you work, Papa Jim's, if I might ask? My husband, he worked third shift for years and he loved it, but that's when he was younger and he used to work for Colgate Palmolive. I'm wondering, was she wondering if she fed the rooster crackers? Now, Brian, about this lady, 401 machining and Ramsey. Oh, okay, machining. Hmm. Yeah, my husband's over there working at Ford's. The last job he did was he inset the consoles into the vehicles, and that was his job. So, the Ford Motor Company insurance is pretty good too. We're pretty fortunate that, because man, if you don't have insurance and you go to a doctor and you have to have medicine, Brian said he's waiting a long time for her. Hmm. Brian, have you been sparkling and we don't know about it? Brian said, "Stop acting like my big sister." No, sometimes it's, you don't want to jump the broom prematurely, Brian. You know how us females, we analyze everything, or at least I do. What time is it, Precious? Yeah, 10:35. Well, good people, I'm going to let you go. I think we've covered every topic. If not, we'll do it on the next one. So don't forget about the auction. That's my contacts acting up. That's going to happen Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's going to be a lot of stuff moving and going out of here. I just can't keep it all, right? So, with that being said, thank you guys for coming in. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Papa Jim's, it was good to see you. Until no, tomorrow I've got a Genuinely Gina tomorrow at 3. And we're in the book of Revelations, by the way. And blessings to everyone. You guys have a good night. Brian, no, I'm kidding. I love you guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow on Genuinely Gina at 3 p.m. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate that. See you guys later. Bye bye. Thank you so much for coming in.